Looking everywhere for the batteries.
Old son down there, he lost his glasses a month ago. And we just happened to be doing a radiator and spark plugs on this car. And they're down there on a control arm. Just hanging there. Let me get them for you. Don't hurt yourself. I'll snag them for you. How many miles? You drove this thing to freaking
Auburn and back.
Dude, you put like 100+ miles on this thing. These are the titanium ones too, so they're cheap.
Yeah, they're very inexpensive.
We got some new goodies today, guys. Welcome back to V-Belt & Son. Now, I needed a couple things for the lift. I needed some of those screw stabilizer jacks, so we got one right there. And I've actively been on the hunt for some new welding. I wanted a welder for kind of a permanent station, and also I wanted to get a really nice welder, something that you guys wouldn't bicker about, because this Lincoln 130 that I've been running for since I was a little kid, learned how to weld on it. That was my old man's welder. Well, technically still is. I'm just on a long-term borrow for a couple years now. But he bought that when he first bought his house back 30+ years ago. And, well, built numerous gates for his property with it, all his fence line, corner bracing, everything. And then even stepped it up. He's built flatbeds with it, flatbed dumps. Let's see, what else? Grapples. Every one of our grapples for the excavators that pull on, you know, 20, even up to a 46,000 pound excavator, the dangle part of the U-joint was welded together with that welder I use on a daily basis. The one that you guys always say just doesn't have enough stuff. Doesn't have enough Haas. It's too small of a box. It's 220, 221, whatever it takes. And it's honestly a good welder. If the initial weld isn't enough material in there, you can do another pass. It's not that big a deal. All you guys griping about it, throwing a fit, doesn't make that much sense. Even wood splitters. Shoot, that thing is built, man, 4 or 5 wood splitters, something like that. No issues. Not one of the welds have ever failed. So this is what I wanted to. So this is what I've been wanting to do for a while. Is I want to get a new welder, multi-function preferably, something like Miller 215 is what me and my buddy Cornell were aiming at. But I also wanted to test it against something that an average person could afford. Because a Miller, or even if you got a Hobart 200, kind of the same thing, multi-function. You got your stick weld, you got your MIG TIG. It does all three. Those things could be $2,000 to $4,000 depending on what options you go on those kits. So a company named VEVOR reached out to me, and they have all kinds of different product. Like, it's unreal how much stuff they have. And so they threw a couple items at me. They're like, hey, you interested in this? You interested in a 110 welder? And I was like, you know, I am definitely interested in quite a few of the items they have, but I said I wanted some of them that are going to be choice items that will actually benefit me in the shop here and benefit you guys. I'll do a review on this bad boy, and later on down the road, when I open up my wallet, send it on the $1,000+ $3,000 welder, I want to see how this welder that an average person can afford, sub $500 kind of a category. So they pulled some strings, and we're going to test this bad boy out. And like I said, they also have numerous other items in their catalog. And I was just looking through just to see what else they had to offer. The screw jack that I need for the lift, a stabilizer, they also sell those too. Also, I mean, everything down to road cones, probably stud finders for your house. This company, I guess I'm saying it right. No, VEVOR, I don't know how to spell. VEVOR, I don't know. But this right here is a multi-function welder. How do you get it out? I don't want to tip it upside down and knock it over, drop it on the floor and have to order another one. Get out of your box. Whew. Neat little unit right here. Weighs about 18 pounds. Well, not only were you setting up the new welder with another $50 cart from Harbor Freight, I was working on a supercharged Buick. Old family mission right here. Callahan, he's doing stuff. Taylor's doing most of it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did somebody got a little ahead of themselves? You just break it over sideways or undo it? Got heavier when I put that 10-pound spool of solid wire on the flux core. This heavy duty dogger. Oh. Yep, that happens. Okay, now we got to get the bottle on the back and those chains that Callahan ran off with. And we got to hook up a regulator and we're going to be running some gas. It's a big day for me. Ta-da! She's all set up. Got the new bottle on there. Cranked her open a little too high. Initial. But check this out. It even came with a little diagram on here for all your extra stuff, because the way you get it set up, you just switch it around physically in the front where your ground wire, your power supply, and all that stuff comes from. So we're going to be running MIG, not flux core MIG. So we're going to have, let's see, our power coming from the power and our ground is our ground. So we got to do a loop over. And the ground is, yeah, right there. We're good there. So that's neat. They give that option. And then let's see here. I think I need to change this little dogger out, but I gotta look at the discretions. They're backwards, I think. So according to the instructions, the one that's got the ribs on it, that's for your flux core. Didn't know there was something to care to make a difference, but we're gonna be running the good stuff because you guys really want some wow. It's got some no flux in it, I guess. I don't know. Even though if you got a hardcore sauce welder, you could run both. Come on, get out of there. There we go. We need you to come out a little bit and you snip the tip. Then stab a jab it right in there. Oh, there's that. Don't unspool. Boom, boom. Alrighty now, got the new tip on there. That's nice. This thing is longer than about double the ground, but jumper cable will get that done. She's feeding. There she is. Turn that back down. Turn the gas on. Dudes, alright, let me get something to weld. Wish I had a little project to try it on, but let's do some test fitting first. Desperately need to get a extension cord for that now. Let's crank her up. I guess it does auto everything for that. Okay. Set on MIG. That thing. Let's see how she does. Gas is turned on. Be nice to throw down that speed a little bit. It's actually a pretty clean little weld. Right off the kick, look at this weld. Man, that's some material. Look how clean that came out. We need to fine tune some of these settings. There's the first tack. I mean, it does a pretty serious tack. Let's see if I'll mess around with it a little bit. I'll be right. Never say that older welder I've been using forever has been bad at all. But man. Four tacks, that thing's probably all that zinc we need, but we're gonna buzz her all the way home. Let's get the upside down weld done first. Damn, I got nothing wrong with that. That is ridiculous. What in the world? Let's turn her down just a little bit. Cool. I'm not gonna lie, it laid down a really nice bead. Again, that's V grooved in there, so she's doing great. Normally never do this, but I'm going to do a price breakdown on this whole little cart right here because it's actually very affordable, and I'm going to tell you how much this welder is listed for as I'm making this video. But I got about 150 bucks tied up in the cart, the pressure, and a 10-pound roll of wire. And I think I might have bought a couple extra tips or something like that. So 150 bucks for the cart and carry-ons and stuff. This welder right now is listed with a Black Friday sale possibly tied up in it, $209. Normally 320 bucks. And let me show you the weld. I've got a photo of it to prove that she's actually getting hot. But that little devil is actually laying down a pretty nice little freaking bead. It's actually very surprising how well it's just rocking and rolling. And I'm running the ground through my little aluminum tray cart thing that I always do. But let's see here. Super wide pass right there. I wish maybe I'll dig into it, find out how to lower the speed of the wire just a little bit. But this son of a gun is laying down some authority. This is V grooved out, so it's actually pulling up in and over quite a bit. This is, I would consider that kind of a cold weld. Up there, not so bad. You can see the stages. That's where I started, and I turn up the heat, turn it up a little bit more, and then you really just got to get down and dirty with it. She's doing pretty good for a $200, $300 welder. For today's times, holy crap. Sent one to my dad, let's see what he says. He said, what did he say, where'd it go? He said, not bad. Glowing red hot at the tip. Man, this is crazy. All in for 500 bucks. That's not bad at all. Even if you didn't get it on sale for the 200 that they're offering for it right now. This is a proper little son of a gun. Now, I'm not going to end this video here with just a couple little bench tests and I wrote V-belt on it. I'm going to go ahead and put this thing through the paces the next couple weeks, months, something, and see how this thing does, because it's going to be a proper review. Rebuilding this 66 crew cab, Cummins swap, chassis swap, everything swap. There's tons of metal work that I've done to this truck. All this stuff up here is custom, and that's all done flux core. So it'll be really neat to see how well that does. First thing I'm going to test out is, I'm going to get ballsy. Probably not that, honestly. I got a patch panel I need to do right there. Maybe I'll crank her down a little bit and see how well it performs. But I want to do a couple of body works with it. That's probably the last patch panel I hope on this truck. What a treat to run this little sucker. It's actually very nice. Alright, been using this welder for over a week now. I want to go ahead and make something we can try to possibly test the strength of these welds. Old J-hook rebar, got a couple pieces of flat bar. We're going to do something here so we can lift something up outside, test the side strength, the straight pull, and all that of these welds. Because, let me get down where you can see me. I don't know what it is about people. They think it's a 220 welder. Obviously it's packing a punch. It's actually fired off some really nice welds. Having the gas, that's an improvement. I will admit, it takes a little bit different technique to get good penetration running gas compared to flux core. Flux core literally seems to be a little mole and just tunnels right in. But let's go ahead and whip something up quick. We'll make it a hook, straight pull, and then we'll also have a hook on the bottom. I made it super simple. We can actually put way more weld on there than that. But the initial hook, we got a spot weld, spot weld, spot weld, just 4. Simple. And then for this one, for our angle, for our hook, we're gonna go out there and try to lift a block. Got this one, and then 2 on the back. Let's see how strong that is and see if that will break jerking around on one of those cement blocks. Probably break the chain or something first. Test out my little contraption with, I'd say, very minimal welding on it to see how well just the tack welds held. Got a 45,000 pound excavator. Bend my little crappy hook out of rebar, or we're going to pull the rebar out of the block. But I don't think the welds are going to break before either of those, so that'll be our control test. Well, control point 1. She bent the rebar, to be expected. So all I'm going to do is go get another piece of rebar or whatever scrap steel I can find and connect the dots. We're going to go from down there to up there and just run it right through that and see if we can break it. Yep, there she is. Scrap iron deluxe. Hooked down to the block. Let's see what comes from this one. My 4 tie down. And then when I dropped it, it broke that rebar. Where did it piece it? Oh, there it is. Still hot from welding it 30 seconds ago. Obviously it's a loop, so it's going to be quite a bit stronger just on, you know, that. But look at my little 4 tack welds. Didn't even budge. That didn't budge. So everybody keeps saying, oh, those little welders are not strong. There's tack welds, and it just broke a 5,000 pound strap. Again, probably get a chain, try it again, but this does the job. All right, quickly look over this thing one more time. Obviously, your standard house, you know, you're gonna have to run and disconnect your dryer if you want to get your 220, unless your garage is hooked up for it. But got this big cord, another deal off Amazon. It's $100. I think it's 40 feet long, and it's thick. It definitely makes a cart weigh probably double. Little box here, man. That is just slick. I talked to him about getting the TIG and the stick welder thing. A lot of guys saying, oh, you gotta stick weld everything. Go to the factories. Everybody's running wire feed, putting all the trailers and everything together, and the stuff's holding just fine. Literally, if you weld it correctly, get your settings right, your weld's gonna be stronger than the dang steel, which says a lot, because I'll go show you some equipment attachments real quick and then we'll end this video. This flatbed on my dad's old truck. He built that with that little red Lincoln. It's held together many a years. No issues. Huh, big guy. How about these plates right here? Looks like we got at least a double weld with that Lincoln right here. And you gotta understand that thing right there weighs about 1,500 pounds. Same thing with this. I actually think this one's a little bit heavier. Same thing. Got a weld on the top, weld on the bottom. That's never gone anywhere. That gets thrown up and down countless times per minute, really. Throwing that kind of weight around, hitting on trees, and it hasn't shown any fatigue. And that's 3/4 right there. We cut these things in-house. Someone would be like, oh, your plasma cutter can't cut that. It just did. Like, it's literally, it's there. 3/4, welder up. You gotta heat the steel if you need a little bit extra, but as long as it's V-grooved and you don't have enough material coming out of your welder to knock it out, as long as it's penetrating, you can put another pass on it. All right, where's she at? There she is up there. This is the grapple for that excavator you guys just saw lifting that block up. It doesn't care about lifting the block. Last thing it's worried about. This whole plate right here, the adapter plate and the U-joint for a 46,000 pound excavator was welded with that Lincoln down there. Welds came out good. Hasn't had any issues. You got about a half right there for the main structure, and then 2 halves on each side. Tie it in down there. Again, that's a 46,000 pound excavator, so whatever its breakout force, pulling power is, it hasn't shown any issues with that. I just keep thinking it's funny, like, I know a lot of people like old school stuff. They want to go back to a stick welder and stuff, but man, that little welder has welded so much little stuff. And now to have this new welder from VEVOR, I don't know how to say it. VEVOR. It's just funny how everybody wants to go back to their old techniques or something, or downsize anything. That little Lincoln welder has just been an absolute champ for 30 plus years, and it's still going. What you doing, bud?
I'll knock out a little outro for you guys and just point out that welder is an absolute little ripper. It's been a while now since I even filmed any of those segments. I've done body work with it, hitting the sheet metal stuff. It's light gauge, big gauge. It is penetrating, and I'm just simply, it's unbelievable, really, for their price point. Comment below what you guys think I should go with. Hobart Tractor Supply brand, which arguably is just a smaller sister brand, or rebranded Miller, or hit it up with a Lincoln, or obviously get the Miller. There's a couple other more favorable to the wallet brands that pop up on Facebook and stuff like that, little ads. There's tons of welders out there. Comment below which one you think you should go with. But I got to wrap this edit up quick because we're going to be hopping on the road for about a 500-mile turn and burn tomorrow. We're going to be bringing home a Ford, and it's something I've looked forward to for freaking ever. So if you got guesses on that Ford, comment that below. But thank you guys for watching. Please, link in the description below. Check out VEVOR. That's what I'm going with. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but it's an absolute ripper. I believe they're going to hook you up with a discount on top of the already great price. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about those welds. Later.